I know it's just my opinion, so I know these are clearly not hated. I think maybe one of these might be on a list. Like most people have. So number five, Alien. So right off the bat, you're trying to kill me, and you're probably death threatening me or something in the comments. I know. Most people say this is one of the most perfect films according to everybody. And I don't get it. Personally, I thought Blade Runner was better, and that was Ridley Scott. Personally, I know it's also an unpopular opinion. I don't really like that much of Ridley Scott. I mean, I remember when The Martian came out, people praised that like the best science fiction in like the past 25 years, and I thought it was an okay film. But Alien, I mean, okay, it's better than The Martian, but and I thought Blade Runner was boring, but it's more entertaining than Alien for me. You know, I just I've seen it multiple times pretty much, and I don't only think I've maybe seen the whole film once because I just can't really get through it that much. And I'm not saying the acting is great. I mean, I think yeah, all the effects are kind of incredible. The story is, you know, good, but perfect like top 10 on all these sci-fi and horror because let's be honest, Alien's a horror. I just, people say it's like Jaws. Oh, it's perfect like Jaws or all these other films. I just don't see it. I mean, how many more times do I have to watch it? That's why I haven't watched Aliens by James Cameron. And, you know, number four, Eternal Sunshine. This film has two great actors. I love Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet, but I thought it was wasted. It's very boring and stupid, honestly. I don't like this film. I don't get it. I know some sci-fis are really confusing, but don't I just don't understand. There's no reason for me to rewatch this because it's just really I don't even know what it's about. Like, people saying this is one of the best 50 films ever. Sometimes the Truman Show is not even on those lists, and I think the Truman Show is one of my favorite films ever made. And yet this from 2003 I just don't know. I don't get it. I never got it. And yeah, as much as I said I don't really like Alien, I would take Alien over this. So, I just don't get it. At most, I would give this a 6. That might even be nice for me. Number 3, the Matrix. This is probably the only one that might be on a overrated film list. And again, I don't hate it, but I would give this a 6 out of 10. And me personally, you know, nothing against Keanu Reeves. I love some of his films. I would take John Wick films on over this any day. Those are fantastic. I love those films. They're not my favorite action films, but they're fun times. They're always fun times, great action, better stories than The Matrix. Might even be better acting by Keanu Reeves in those films. I've seen it multiple times. I just don't get it. It's ranked number 17 on IMDb. This is praised so much, and yet everybody seems to hate the sequels, and just like the Alien series, why should I watch the sequels if everybody says they suck, and I don't even like the first one? Now, I think the story is also a mess. I mean, I don't think the story's interesting. I think, yeah, the fighting's amazing. But like, there are so many fighting films that are better, like, they're better than The Matrix. This, like, yes, for the time, it's kind of incredible that the action for the time was amazing. But again, another Keanu Reeves film I think is better is Speed. It's more of a simple plot and it's super suspenseful and it's amazing. What is with The Matrix? People praise the shit out of this film. I honestly don't get it. Number 2, Doctor Strangelove. And I know some of these titles have a long title, but I'm just shorting out. I hear all the time, this is the best comedy of all time. People say it's Kubrick's best film. Better than 2001 A Space Odyssey? Better than The Shining? Like, where are people even getting these ideas? And again, it's not even close to me. There are a few funny scenes. Peter Sellers is usually always good. And if you're gonna say, "Oh, you just don't like Peter Sellers," I think Being There is one of my favorite films of all time. Being There, and Peter Sellers is hilarious. But in this, I just don't get it. And if it's just a few funny scenes, then it's nowhere near one of my favorite comedies. But yet, you know, if it was the one of the best comedies, I would be dying. It would be hilarious. This film for me also is just boring, and you have to know certain stuff in history. Like, I'm not that kind of person. I just, for comedy, why do you have to know certain jokes? Why do you have to know the history? Like, it's all this stuff. Like, the ending is pretty cool, and the whole bomb explodes. That's pretty cool. And again, of course, it's directed beautifully. The cinematography is perfect. I think the acting's good because Stanley Kubrick always makes a good film. But this, I give it a 6 for me. At most, it's a 6 out of 10. I just don't get it. Number one, this is honestly, it's not as high ranked like The Matrix on IMDb, but for most lists, it's higher. In fact, it's one of the highest, like, most loved films ever made. Casablanca. Yep. And I've seen this multiple times, like a few of the films. I've given a chance. Now, for me, I think I like this the most on this list. I actually do think it's a good movie. But greatest film, best love story, I mean, people seem to praise it as the best film of all time. The best film of all time. Like, they say it's the best love story. I don't get it. Like, I've seen better love stories, done better than this. I mean, for example, I would take the Maltese Falcon, over any day. That was the same era, just 1941 versus 1942, is it? I just, I don't get it. I mean, it's just Casablanca, the love for this film is unbelievable. I mean, for me, it's just a boring story. I mean, some scenes are pretty cool. It's mostly just, all the love scenes kind of just, I don't like them. I think, you know, the amount of times people have quoted "Play It Again, Sam" or whatever it is, you know, it's just, is it that good? Is it the best story? I mean, best picture? And again, I love, some scenes. Some scenes are cool. The ending is ridiculously parodied. It's also one of the most parodied films of all time. I just don't understand the love. Like, again, I give this a 7. This is the only film, honestly, I give a 7 on this list. I think it's a good movie, but it's nothing better than a good movie. It's, again, as I said, it's boring as hell, like, the whole time. I'm like, nothing really happens other than a love story. And it's like, it's like so many love stories are way higher. Like, I can watch a love story if it's done really well. This is just a good, fine love story. That's it. And honestly, I've watched it multiple times. I've tried to love it. I want to love it. Every classic that I watch, that I've heard, I'm like, I hope this is amazing. Some films do it for me, but some don't. And this is one of them that I wanted it to do it for me. It didn't. It just didn't. And the actors in a lot of films, I love them in a lot of films. You know, Humphrey Bogart, I mean, as I said, The Maltese Falcon, I think he's even better in that film, and I think it's a much better story. That's one of the better noirs. That's one of the best films of the 40s. Most people say this is the best film of all time. I think Maltese Falcon's one of the best films of the 40s. Like, just an example of a film with him that's much better, with much better storytelling. Better, like, everything's better. Now, maybe you could say the cinematography, yeah, yeah, it's amazing cinematography. I like the directing, I like the editing. Like, there's technical stuff that's amazing. But other than that, it's just a film that people fell in love with for some reason, even though there's so many others that are better.